Major principles of our Constitution. Remember, our Constitution that we use today is actually our second Constitution. The first Constitution was called the Articles of Confederation. They were very weak, they gave the states too much power, and the federal government had no power to enforce a lot of the laws that it had made. So, let's start off. First up, popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty basically means that the people are the source of the government's power. Who votes our representatives in the office? The people. The people allow themselves to be governed. 2. Republicanism. People elect their political representatives. You don't just have some random person representing you. We actually get to pick who represents us. The reason we need representatives is because our population is so large that not every single person could always vote on every single issue. So, we elect representatives to vote on our behalf. Make sure when you turn 18 that you're using this right. Next, limited government. The Constitution limits actions of the government by specifically listing powers it does and does not have. The framers of the Constitution did not want a tyrannical, controlling government like of Britain. So, it specifically said the powers that it does not have and the powers that it does have. That way, the government could never become too controlling. Next up, federalism. Federalism is, in this government system, power is divided between national and state governments. You can go a step further and say that power is divided at the federal level, which is the national level, the state level, and the local level. For example, the leader of the federal government is our president. He has the say of the entire nation. The leader of the state government is the governor, and the leader of a local town is the mayor. The reason we do that is so each individual town can have their each individuality, and then it goes so forth. At the end of the day, the federal government gets the final say. Next up, separation of powers. To keep one branch of government from having too much power, we divided them. We divided them into 3 branches. One is the legislative branch, responsible for making laws, the executive branch, carrying out laws, and the judicial branch interprets laws. Of those 3 branches, to make sure each is doing their job and not one branch has too much power, there's a system put into place of checks and balances. Each branch of government can check another branch to make sure they're doing their job, and they can balance out power by sometimes canceling that branch's job. For example, the legislative branch makes laws, but the final approval comes from the executive branch. If the president doesn't want that law, he can veto it or say no. However, if that happens, it can go back to the legislative branch, and if they vote with a 2/3 majority, then it will pass again. The judicial branch can also impeach the president and make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Same with the legislative branch. This is a big, long process that we'll talk much more about. Again, at the end of the day, checks and balances. Finally, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights lists your individual rights that the government cannot take away. Here are a few of them. The 4th Amendment, the 5th Amendment, the 6th, and the 8th. I'll let you read those to get a better idea. All these come in the Bill of Rights, which was added to the Constitution in 1791. Here are a few of them in their basic, most simplistic form if you'd like to take a look. Well, that's the end of this video. Have a great rest of your day, and remember, page 221 to 223 is where you can find all the information you need on these. If you have any questions, please ask.